Hello Cloud Gurus and welcome to this lecture. And this lecture is all about Web Identity Federation. So let's get started. So what is Web Identity Federation? Well, it lets you give your users access to AWS resources after they have successfully authenticated with a web-based identity provider like Amazon, Facebook, or Google. Following successful authentication, the user receives an authentication code from the Web ID provider, which they can then trade for temporary AWS security credentials, which will then allow them to access AWS resources. So for example, imagine that you are developing a web-based application and you want to make it available to Facebook users. You can actually use Web Identity Federation to handle the authentication of the users on your behalf. And they provide this service called Amazon Cognito, which enables Web Identity Federation with the following features. Firstly, it gives you sign up and sign in to your applications. It provides access for guest users, so it enables you to handle users who don't already have an account. It acts as an identity broker between your application and Web ID providers, and that means you don't need to write any special code to integrate your application and the Web Identity provider. It synchronizes user data across multiple devices. So for example, if I access an application using my mobile phone and I make a change to my user data or my profile data, next time I log into the same application and I'm using a tablet or a PC, I should see the updates that I've made via my mobile phone. So you should get a seamless experience across all different devices. And finally, Cognito is recommended for all mobile applications which run on AWS services. And Cognito is the recommended approach for Web Identity Federation using social media accounts like Facebook, Google, and also Amazon as well. So just imagine a mobile shopping application and it's using S3 for product data and DynamoDB for customer data. And you want to enable customers to log in using Facebook and then to be able to access the product data and their own profile data within the customer database. So first of all, they'll need to log into Facebook, and after successfully logging into Facebook, Facebook will give them a web token, and Cognito will take the web token and exchange it for temporary AWS credentials. And it's these temporary credentials which allow them the access that they need to see the contents of your S3 bucket and also to request and update data in the database. So Cognito brokers between the application and Facebook or Google to provide these temporary credentials. And then it's these credentials which map to an identity access management role. And it's that role that allows them access to the required resources. So this means that there's no need for the application to embed any AWS credentials. You don't need to store credentials locally on the device, on the mobile phone or the tablet. And another benefit of Cognito is that it can also give users a really seamless experience across all mobile devices. So you can log in using multiple different devices and you should get the same user experience no matter what device you're using. So let's take a look at some of our exam tips for Web Identity Federation. Remember, Federation allows users to authenticate with a web identity provider like Google, Facebook, or Amazon. The user authenticates first with the web ID provider. They then receive the authentication token, which gets exchanged for temporary AWS credentials, allowing them to assume an identity access management role. Cognito is an identity broker. It handles the interaction between your applications and the web ID provider, and you don't need to write any of your own code in order to do this. It provides sign up, sign in, and guest user access. It syncs the user data for a seamless experience across all your devices. And Cognito is the AWS recommended approach for Web ID Federation, particularly for mobile applications. So that's the end of this lecture. If you have any questions, please let me know. If not, feel free to move on to the next lecture. Thank you.